Alright, the things you'll need today are a socket wrench, a specialty tool from Kawasaki to get the old oil filter off, a new oil filter, a new washer, 2 quarts of oil, some rags to clean up your mess, a 4mm wrench, Allen key, whatever you want to call it, a funnel, an oil pan to get your oil, and a flathead. Also, you may want to have something really long just so you can keep the fairings spread apart while the oil is dripping. One of the first things you're going to want to do is get your Allen key, put it in the little bolt on this side and on the other side, and just loosen it so that the fairings are a little bit looser. After that, you're going to come to the bottom of the front of the bike, and there are 3 of these. They're little push stubs. So all you're going to do is get your flathead, and you're going to put it in the side of the groove, and you're just going to pop it out. And you're going to do that for all 3 of them. There's 1 here, and then there's 2 on the bottom. After that, you can kind of just put your wrench in there and kind of spread it apart so that the oil has somewhere to drip. I find it easy to get the wrench, the head of the wrench on the other side, and wedge the other piece on the bottom. After you got your wrench wedged in there, you're going to want to come to the back of the bike and jack up your bike, and then you're going to want to get yourself a 17mm socket for this bolt right there. You don't want your bike to be running at all during the day because the oil will be really hot. So I just left it cold. Also, if your wrench pops out, it's totally fine on this step. I told you. So after you've broke it loose, where you can kind of freely turn it, you want to go to the other side of the bike and take off the oil cap so the oil runs freely. Also, make sure you have your bike wedged, your fairings wedged, so none of the oil gets on your fairings. It's optional to use gloves if you like, but like I said, a rag will do. So you're going to let that drain for about 5-10 minutes until it stops dripping completely. Also, we've got that other washer because after a while it starts to erode the washer. Wow, that's running in the back, or dripping as I would say. If you come to the front, there is your oil filter right there, and it happens to be right behind my exhaust. So what I'm going to do is put some rags over my exhaust so whenever it does drip out, it won't drip on my exhaust and cause smoke when I start it up. It's optional to have an extender, but for my case I would use it without because my exhaust is in the way. So I'm going to go on the other side of the bike, peel back the fairings just a little bit, and just start going. Now that I've got my rag in place and I've got my oil filter almost off, I'm slowly gonna loosen it up until I can do it with my hands, so none of my tools end up getting in the oil. But you don't have to loosen it all the way to start letting it drip. It'll drip as soon as it's broken free. So right now I'm just loosening it with my hands until you can just take it out all by itself. And that is exactly why I have rags on my exhaust. Occasionally, the oil filter will get stuck, so all you're going to want to do is just put your wrench in there, grab the oil filter, and just pry it off, because it'll get stuck on there. Next step, old, new. With your new oil filter, you're going to get a little bit of oil. Just rub it on the inside of the ring, and then put it on the bike. Make sure not to put oil in your bike until you've got this securely in there. You don't want to have new oil flowing into your old pan, because then you'll have to buy new oil. So after it's all done dripping, all the old oil's out, you're going to want to wait for the plane to move and then start doing the video again. You want to get it with your hand and just put it right where exactly the old one was at. After you've kind of got it snug with your fingers, you can take the old oily rag, throw it away. Then you get your socket wrench and then tighten it up. No! Not cool. Not cool at all. Well, now you've got all the oil out, you can actually take out your long piece that you use to wedge your fairings apart. After you've got it securely on there, you're able to get your old nut, get your new washer, and put it back in the drain plug. After you've wiped it off. And tighten it. After that, you're going to go to the other side and start pouring in your oil. Another main thing to watch out for is any excess oil drip. All I do is just get a rag, wipe off as much as I can. What I absolutely love about the Ninja 650 is it's got this oil gauge. So as soon as you fill up your oil, you wait about 20-30 seconds for all the oil to sit, and then you can start seeing the level of the gauge start leveling out. don't throw these away because you'll put your old oil in here. Safe and easy way to dispose of it. See how the oil is starting to settle? So it'll fill up all the way to the top when you're pouring it in, and then it'll slowly get to the rest of the bike. And there's two little nicks on the side of the oil where you can see the oil, where the oil should be. So the bottom is the minimum and that's the maximum. You're going to want it right in the middle. So just wait a few more seconds for the oil to finally settle, and then pour a little bit more in, and let it settle, and pour a little bit more in. Meanwhile, while the oil is finally settling in, all your excess oil, drag it on out. Your old empty one, you're going to open up, use a funnel, and pour the old oil in to easy disposal. After all the oil is done dripping, you're going to want to put your cap back on securely, nice and tight. And then you're going to put your bolts back on your bike. And then the 3 on the bottom. Alright, after you've got everything tightened down, put everything back together, one last little wipe down to get all the oil off. And then just let it run for about 15 minutes and before you start riding.